I'm floored. I'm honored. I mean, I'm so grateful. You guys, before even one day had passed, the goal we set in the last episode, I mean, you blew it out of the water. Today, let's see if we can do it again. 3,000 likes on this episode. Oh baby, it feels good to be back. Welcome back to the Minecraft Guide, everybody. In between episodes, I've been busy on our interior mansion we constructed in the last one. Over here, that corner shelf, it looks new because it is new. That corner shelf, oh, it's new too. A little bit of expensive lighting inside of this thing. Lanterns? Yeah, why not? I'm pretty sure that's new as well. And up on the ceiling, you might have noticed a couple of brand new fences as well. This little building here, truly, it's looking grander than ever before. No, definitely not. Definitely not. I gotta get some honeycombs over here on the bone zone. 3,000 blocks, you say? 5,000 blocks? You've trekked all this way over here by your lonesome to meet up with good old little me, your trusty owner? It can make me cry right in the beginning of the episode, buddy. There's no wonder I call you my best friend. So on the outside of our humble little mansion over here, I've gone ahead and decorated this thing up with, as you can see, copper walls. The building block with every kind of building block in the entire game, yes. Farms. Throughout the history of this little world we reside in, we have built just one or two farms. But most of those farms were built by the old me. If the new me 1.21 version wants to unlock them, well, first, we need to build a brand new farm. Quick, think fast. What's the most annoying part about farming? You see, planting a farm, no big deal. Not that we had a choice. Harvesting the farm, I mean, that's how you get the crops. But planting and harvesting the farm? Oh, whew, that's a waste of time. Let's design a new farm that is easy to build and cuts the amount of work we have to do in half. Considering my most recent IRL hobby of planting plants all over the place, if I can pull that knowledge from life into the game, I mean, this should be a cakewalk. Alright, so you might remember, at some point in the last episode, I posed a gigantic, important question to all of you. What do I do? Do I continue building new builds over here at this brand new base? Or do we travel all the way back to the Cherry Blossom base and set up a little bit more stuff? Tree Chopples, baby, take it away. So check this out, our humble little starter house over here for the new update. It's sitting over here looking quite pretty if I say so myself. However, it's also, I don't know if you can see, like, kind of right there on the roof. I think the build is, maybe move a little. Yeah, I think the build is, unfortunately, might have a frown on it. Now, I'm no therapist, but plain and simple, I'm pretty sure this build is frowning because it's all alone on its solitary. In order to reverse that, we need at least one more build sitting pretty right over here. Alright now, so my move from last episode, it was actually not as controversial as I thought. Bringing over a bunch of starter supplies, I mean, you guys seem to be valid and down for it. So, really, thank you all so much for that. But there is one thing. See, if we want to get going on today's builds and make a crop farm that is easier to use than ever before, well, there's kind of like one big thing that I really need. And this one big thing that I really need is going to be found down here, deep inside of the caves that apparently I've never explored once in my life before. Zombies, a horde of them. No, you cheater. Zombies, a horde of them, naked and alone inside of the cave. Is this a good idea? No, absolutely not. It's definitely not a good idea. But it's just about the only idea that I had. Redstone. I need to get my hands on a tiny bit of redstone. I know a little bit about generation, a thing or two all about it. If I want to get my hands on redstone, the other side of the farm. If I want to get my hands on redstone, then probably the easiest move is go deep down into my world, as deep as possible. So hear me out here. Here's what I was thinking. Maybe the easiest, best way, and safest way to find a little bit of redstone, considering my armor situation, well, I figured maybe what I could do is make a staircase as deep as possible. Hopefully I hit a cave, walk right into it, and boom, wham, bam, voila. Just like that, the dust that I need, which is like literally 8. Move down to the cave for a little bit of time, and boom, wham, bam, just like that. A little bit of redstone dust, literally 8. I think I've got it. Let's take a look around. Let's take a look around for sure. What do we have down here? A cave that has never been caved before. An amethyst geode that has never been geoded. Oh, wow. Sweet Lucy, the former departed protector of said amethyst geode. Oh, a little bit of fire, too. Wow, that's beautiful looking. I think I have to. I'm legally obliged. Oh, wow, I hear more and more zombies, but I don't see any zombies walking around, so I think coast is clear. We walk into the geode. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, you're not coast is clear. Okay. Oh, sweet dancing, spinning friend, where in the world did you come from? Go away. Glorious, this is gorgeous. This thing has been sitting around back over at spawn for like an eternity, probably just waiting for this moment right here. However, anyways, getting a little bit more focused and buckled in for today's goal. Sweet diamonds, you come with me, the very first ones of 1.21. You're wonderful, just like that, 3 of them. Tiny bit of iron, that's wonderful, but I kind of already have that. Even more caves, and that's where probably the zombie was coming from. Yeah, for sure, a lot of caves and even more redstone dust. Just what I need today. Back up in the safety of home sweet home, bright and early the next morning. Let's check this out. Inside of the crafting table, copper blocks, condense them all the way down into copper ingots. It's beautiful that they made this change, but oh my god, is that still so expensive to do. So in the spirit of early game Minecraft, I think we ought to go ahead and make today's farm a little bit of a more simple farm, right? Like not too much ingredients here. Check this out. If I put a lever down next to a trap door and hit it, the trap door opens and closes. That's wonderful. So keep that in mind. That'll be kind of like step 1 of the farm today. Maybe even more wonderfully, let's say I had a bunch of blocks sat out on the ground and then I had redstone dust on top of it to extend the signal. If I hit this lever right here, the signal will go a little bit farther. That's like very interesting. That's like step 2 of the build today. Step number 3, check this one out. Trap door right there. It's next to the redstone dust block, but it's technically not really touching it, especially when it's open. If I went ahead and placed a couple more of those down and hit this lever, nothing happens. But then I hit it again, and oh boy, something definitely happens. I hit it again, and just like that, I've now synced up the trap doors to the redstone dust, no longer needing to ever lay a single ounce of a single pixel of a finger. I don't gotta touch the trap doors, and they will just wonderfully work. Just like that. So this one right here, it kind of throws me back to the witch farm when we were setting that up, what feels like a million years ago now. For the longest time, if you ever wanted to set up any kind of farm that has a water retracting functionality, it was usually going to be a piston with a lever nearby. Essentially here we'd have a piston fully extended, put our redstone somewhere else so it doesn't get ruined. We unpower the piston and just like that the water dumps out. It's pretty wonderful. But let's think about what it takes to actually craft a piston, and yeah, all of a sudden it doesn't exactly get very wonderful, especially in the spirit of early Minecraft. But 8 redstone dust, I mean, I feel like that's pretty achievable very early on in Minecraft. A trapdoor, I mean, that's even more achievable. Powering the trapdoor and unpowering it, I mean, it's kind of genius. All that I need to do back over in my world is maybe clear out a little bit of space and pick up this random thing I was setting up, move the most beautiful boy in the world, clear out maybe a little bit more space, and then get to designing. Alright, so check this out. We kind of have like quite a big hill right here. I figured maybe this could be like the back of our whole little spawn setup area for 1.21. With that in mind, I want to try and keep the whole build up on top of this thing. I think it'll be a little bit easier. Let's say maybe I had like the back of the build sitting something like that right there. After that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 right there, which means pull this copper wall out, place that right there, and that would end up being the front of the build. I mean, it might end up being a little tight in here. Maybe I can afford to push it back 1 or 2. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. There we go, much better. 2 blocks back, it looks so much better. And now today, surprisingly, unsurprisingly, it is still Minecraft 1.21. With that in mind, legally, there's only 1 block set we could use. Alright, so here's what I was thinking. This is going to be kind of like the brains of the whole op right here. Instead of just slapping a lever on a plain old copper block, how about that fancy one with an expensive one right below it? After that, a line of 8 redstone dust. Flick the lever, it all powers on and off. That's pretty beautiful. That gets us to exactly where we need to be for inventing a farm today. So if I put a trap door down, if I put some extra blocks right here, and then maybe a couple more extra blocks right here, then I put a water source inside of this thing right here, and then I hit this. Check this out. When the trap door opens, the water flows. That's perfect. How far does the water flow though? Okay. Flows all the way to right there. So that could theoretically maybe be like, say, the end of my farm. If I want to keep it all on one level, make it nice and easy, it flows down all the way to right there, end of the farm. I go ahead and hit it again. Water flows down and All right, so with that information in mind, the water will flow all the way down to, I think it was that block right there, which means that block we're going to dig down and set something else up. That means the rest of this hill right here is in the way. And so a little bit of time later, with that side of the hill dug out, I can now jump over to the other side over here where it's way too low and do the same thing. That's going to be where water sits, 1 block above, so that's like 1. Then knowing that water flows 8 blocks, all that I'm going to need to do here, excuse me, buddy, is go 8 blocks, excuse me again, buddy, go 8 blocks out in a straight line. So yeah, while I go ahead and duplicate, spice up this farm, get it good looking on both sides, planting. Planting has been my most recent obsession. Like, I'm obsessed with it. Outside of my yard, I keep going and, like, growing random trees in different spots. I did a blue spruce. I did a red maple. I did I think the one I showed you before was a baby Norway spruce. I even did a couple trees that just kind of, like, popped up in my yard. I transplanted them to a better spot, and they're actually surviving. But I don't know what they are. And then, like, tons of other plant bushes, too. Some of the grasses, a magnolia bush. Oh, man, he's going off. How about you? I feel like this whole episode has been all about me. So narcissistic of me. I haven't even asked you how you're doing. Tell me about it down below. Sorry. So I'm going to have another water trench, something sitting right there, which means the very corner of my farm is going to sit all the way over here today. On the inside, how in the world could I break this space up? Does something like that look good? I mean, it kind of works. It splits the space up like pretty much perfectly. Let's go with that. Of course, though, can't forget we're going to need a way into the farm, and I want to make sure all of the crops that I have inside of the farm stay in the farm. So maybe a small step up like that. That should be able to pick up most of the crops when the water dumps down. I think it'll stop most of them from being thrown up here. But then all this cut copper is looking a little broke, right? Let's make it expensive and fancy. Cap it off with a couple of blocks, and oh, wow, that's beautiful. I need some honeycombs. Alright, so one of the many cool things about today's build is the fact that once I figure it out on one side, all that I need to do is duplicate it on the other side. You see, for our farm build today, I'd like this thing to be perfectly symmetrical. And so just a tiny bit of time later, knowing what I know about this farm and what's going to end up happening inside of this thing, aka farmland, I went ahead and redid the border all the way around this farm. Now that looks quite a bit bad, doesn't it? Maybe, never mind about that. I'm not gonna do it on the front. So far, farm is looking pretty cool, but to grow crops in Minecraft, there are 3 main ingredients. We need the crop itself, we need a little bit of a light, and then, of course, we're going to need hydrated soil. Hydrated soil, I don't know if this is going to work. So if I have water sources right there, that's going to go 4 blocks out and down. Then what if I had a water source right here to move everything over to the front of the farm? That should definitely hydrate these ones, but does flowing water, you know, this part of the water in there, will that ever, I think it will. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 blocks away. It's gotta. This flowing water right there. Oh, that makes it even easier. The flowing water right there is going to be able to hydrate the farmland. Oh, that's big if true, and it's definitely true. That means no hidden water sources in this design either. Just water right there and water over there. No big deal. But we still do have one big problem, and that is, of course, no copper grates on this entire build. What if maybe we use the copper grates almost as, like, the real, genuine, authentic the copper fence, or whatever you want to call it, and maybe put some of those on the lower back part of the build instead of this whole front wall situation. So that would mean we end up with maybe something that looks like this if I copy it on the other side, and I mean, I don't know. For a copper build, a small, simple starter farm, I think that's pretty good looking. Seeds, so I don't know how to go about this. Right now, I'm proud owner of the 1, 2 seeds, but I mean, seeds are seeds, right? If I have 1, well, theoretically, in no time at all, I would have, theoretically, give it a little bit of time, and in no time at all, I would have more, right? So I'm a little bit stumped right now. So we could go copper to the max, right? And put the acacia fence in there. That could look good. Or do I maybe get like an accenting color in here? I think maybe like an accenting color. The orange is cool and all, right? Like, it's nice, but maybe we don't need to put orange, literally everything on this build. Maybe some fences. And so that brings us to just about the conclusion of today's big reinvention, the simplification of the farm for Minecraft 1.21. To finish up our semi-automatic farm here today, the very final thing that we're going to need to get in is some kind of collection system. A collection system, I mean, it's really straightforward. So once these crops all grow up, I hit the lever, the water flows down. The water will push every single thing in here over to the water stream over there. With the water stream flowing right there from the back all the way over to the front, all I need to do is put a single hopper at the front, dig that block down, place a chest right there, and then maybe so I can like actually open the chest up long term, put a copper grate, dig that out, put that there, dig that out. Then I can walk over here and open that chest up, no big deal. Not a problem at all. Jump over to the other side, do the same exact thing. Yeah, and then realize that as nighttime sets in over here, it is going to be insanely dark. So maybe there's one more thing that I need. To finish off our reinvention today, what if maybe we did a staircase, we did a trap door right there, we did another trap door right there, we jumped down and hanging off of that trap door, we do a tiny bit of light. Something like that. Once I get it all in, all over the farm, that'll give me just enough light to get me all the way through the night. Keep it nice and safe so, you know, the mobs don't bite. And so that right there brings us to the end of the story of the reinvention of the crop farm for Minecraft 1.21. The coppery, beautiful beauty itself. So my plan here is in between episodes to maybe let this thing grow up a little bit more. How it actually works when we harvest the thing, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. We flick the lever, let the water go down, all the crops go into the water stream, take them out of the chest, walk around and replant. We will have no need to ever walk around tediously and harvest the stuff by hand again. And I don't know about you, but that idea alone makes me extremely emotional. I came in here and tried to beautify up the path a little bit. There's not too much that I can really do over here. I mean, it's just a path that walks over there, walks over there, walks over to the lever. You know how it goes. Walking around looking at this thing from the side like I like to do, I mean, it's a nice view. I think it's really cool looking. And imagine this thing maybe like 4 tiers. So like build it 2 of them next to each other, 1 for every single crop. I mean, it's an idea that I might save for our other base. No, how dare I? How dare you let me forget? I almost forget the comments of the day. Whoa, yeah, baby. Comment of the day is back. So if you don't know, comment of the day is where I basically pick a comment from one of the most recent episodes, read it, and talk about it. This comment or question could be about literally anything. Something in the episode, something in Minecraft in general, or maybe just like something in life. Legal disclaimer, I'm not actually a philosopher, even though I sound like one and look like one. Today's comment today is this one right here, about diamonds, or more of them in 1.21. Yeah, so I kind of thought this one was fitting today, given how our adventure ended up going down in the caves. But diamonds, more of them in 1.21? Actually, technically speaking, no. Diamond generation was not changed inside of the 1.21 update. Instead, it was changed back in like, I think it was 1.20.2 or maybe it was 1.20.4. In one of those updates, they made diamonds basically like way more common down under the ground, so you could use them more for like armor trim and stuff like that. Now, this is kind of a long comment of the day. Here's a challenge. Make a museum with every first item I find, mine, or somehow other things. So this is really interesting, and I just wanted to, like, kind of have an excuse to talk about one of my ideas for this update. Who knows if I'll ever get to it, so don't hold me to it, but imagine having, like, in this world, in this update, what I was almost thinking I could go out into the world and do is, like, maybe run around, find a trial chamber that I don't care about too much, sort of, like, take a lot of it apart, or at least empty it out, and kind of turn that trial chamber structure into a museum. And this idea is for any of you to take and use. You're free to. You don't have to pay me. But imagine how fire of an idea that would be. Like you have just a trial chamber structure that actually turns into a museum. Knowing how the trial chamber structure kind of works, it almost is already like built out and meant to be one to begin with. You could totally take the different rooms in the structure and theme each one of them. One of them is like maybe mob things. Maybe a different one is all of the armor trims, all of the shirts, you know, just a bunch of stuff like that. We keep it in mind. But of course, first things first, we're gonna need to go out into the world and find trial chamber, aren't we? Anyways, thank you all so much for watching today. If you want these episodes early, check out my Patreon link down below. Tap that like button, subscribe. It's been me, of course, the hero of the day, Bonzo. Thanks for joining us. We will see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.